Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
So welcome back to the Slippery Slope podcast. So today I want to discuss more about the episode that I did yesterday regarding the young Indigenous male that was arrested at gunpoint on the bus in Canberra in the Australian Capital Territory. So this is an incident, I believe, that raises questions about policing, about accountability, and about whether we've created a culture of cover-ups in our policing services all across Australia. So reflecting back on the actual incident, you picture this: you've got a young Indigenous teenager sitting quietly on a bus. Suddenly police officers, they come onto the bus, guns drawn. He's brought out, he's forced to the ground, he's handcuffed, he's face down. He's actually arrested, handcuffed. There's no questions asked previously about his identity, to produce any identity. And then, only then, after all this has happened, they realise, they compare his likeness to a picture that they have, and then they realise that they've got the wrong person. They've got the wrong bus, obviously the wrong description. They apologise, and remove the handcuffs, and then walk away. Hey, it's all supposed to be good. And then after that, you've got a senior officer. He later comes on and he stands by their actions. And I believe that's where an even greater problem lies. So let's break it down a bit more. You've got police responding to reports of serious crimes. And we shouldn't overlook that these are serious crimes that have been reported. You've got an attempted carjacking. There's a woman, at least one person has been injured, a woman injured. You've got another person who's thrown from a car. These are violent offences, no doubt. But when they stopped the bus, what did they actually see? And what did they actually know? You've got a teenager who they say fits the description. And maybe he did vaguely fit the description, but he's calm. He's sitting quietly. There's no weapon in sight, which is very important. You've got none of the other passengers are showing fear or distress, discomfort, because they've got a chap here who, according to police, he's just committed all these other violent crimes, violent actions. And yet now everything's calm and no one else is stressed out by him being there. There's no signs of agitation or danger. So despite all that, officers escalated immediately to drawing their firearms. They didn't ask the bus driver, not that we can see, asking the bus driver for any information. They didn't scan the passengers for any signs of distress. They didn't confirm the identity before escalating. They went straight to their Glock. And that's where the real danger lies, because once you point a gun, once you've escalated to that point, there's nowhere else to go. So I focused yesterday talking about procedure. Standard operating procedures exist for a reason. They exist to prevent mistakes, to prevent or to protect lives, to ensure accountability. So I ask, did these officers follow procedure? Was there intelligence that specifically identified that bus? Did they have a clear description of the suspect? And did they assess the situation before escalating to pulling their weapon and pointing it? From what we know, the answer seems to be no. They escalated straight to lethal force without evidence of any immediate threat. Remember, there's no weapon in sight. A male person's just sitting. So think about it. If that boy had have panicked, if he had made any sudden move, this could have ended in tragedy. And then what? What are leadership going to say if that had have occurred? Are they still going to be standing by the actions of the officers? Would they still claim it was by the book? The truth is, the boy's composure, that is what prevented escalation. It wasn't the officer's judgment. So here's the bigger issue, and this is why I'm going over this again in this episode. This is the bigger issue that I think comes in. After the incident, you've got a senior officer. He defends the actions of this team. He said he stood by them. But how can you stand by actions that seem to be wrong at every level, every stage? You've got the wrong bus. You've got the wrong person. I believe it was the wrong procedure because you've escalated straight to using a weapon. You've got guns pointed at a teenager who posed no real threat because there was no threat that they could see. There's no weapon. So this is where we need to ask, is this accountability or is this a culture of cover-up? Getting to why I wanted to go over this again, because I believe Australian policing services have created a culture of cover-up. This is why, in my opinion, Queensland Police have so many officer-involved shootings, and over the last couple of years, more than every other state combined, and yet all of these shootings are always investigated by Ethical Services Command. And they're always found that the officer did everything by the book. So this is why I wanted to talk about it, because I believe we have created in Australia, we've allowed a culture of cover-ups. Because when leadership defends things that seem indefensible, it sends a clear message. Mistakes will be excused. So you've got errors, they're going to be hidden. And the institution will be protected at all costs. And who pays the price? You've got ordinary Australians, you and I, we're the ones that pay the price. Indigenous communities who are already facing disproportionate policing, they're paying the price. And you've got families. Families lose trust in the very people meant to protect them. They're paying the price. Cover-ups don't protect society. They protect the institution and they erode public trust. From a faith perspective, a Christian perspective, this also matters very deeply, I believe. The Bible reminds us, Scripture reminds us that justice and truth, they've got to walk together. You can't have justice without truth. What is truth? The question I've been asking for the last couple of months. What is truth? The thing is, when mistakes are covered up and when accountability is replaced with excuses, we deny dignity to those who are wronged. This young boy has been denied dignity, even though he's been wronged. And all that's happened is they've allowed an erosion of trust in their authority. And we allow fear and force to dictate our actions instead of discernment and wisdom. And let's be honest, it's not just about this one boy and this one bus. It's about how we, as a society, we choose to treat sometimes the most vulnerable among us. Do we stand for truth, justice, and dignity, or do we allow cover-ups to become the norm? So the reality is that mistakes happen, but you need to shine a light on those mistakes. Policing's difficult. I do know policing's difficult. I was in the Queensland Police Service for 12 years. It's difficult, it's dangerous work. But when mistakes are defended instead of being acknowledged, and when accountability is replaced with excuses, that's not just poor policing, it's a culture of cover-up. And if we don't question it, if we don't demand transparency, then we accept a system where truth is sacrificed for appearances. And that, everyone, is the real slippery slope. So I'll leave you with this challenge. You've got to think, we need to think critically. We need to ask questions. Don't just accept what's put out there. We need to demand accountability. Right now, the Guardian newspaper is doing an expose on how Queensland police have realistically, they've failed domestic violence victims over the last couple of years because they have not taken things seriously, actions seriously. When people have made complaints, they've not taken these complaints seriously. And then it seems like they have perhaps covered up their own actions because they don't want a light shone on how they have mishandled some of these complaints. And these not handling these complaints properly has resulted in the death of people who should have been protected. And we can go and blame the mental health system, the health system in general. We can blame everyone else. But what they should be doing, what the Queensland Police Service should be doing, what police services all around the nation should be doing, is looking at themselves first. If nothing changes, I've said before, if nothing changes, then nothing changes. But we can't always affect the change that other people or other groups, other organizations need to make. We need to look at ourselves first and see how we can change, and then if our change can affect others, instead of just pointing the finger of blame. That's what we need to demand accountability from these institutions, because justice without truth is no justice at all. And if we allow cover-ups to continue, and I believe we have fostered a culture of cover-up in Australia within our policing services, we risk losing the very foundation of trust between the public and those sworn to protect us. This is all my opinion. Thanks for listening to the Slippery Slope podcast. I'm Jay Fallon.
They just fuel the desire that will take me higher. I'm on fire because nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna stop me now. No more deals to be done. No more selling out my soul just to focus on the goal. Nothing's gonna stop me now. Nothing's gonna hold me down. Got my eye on the prize, gonna set on the clouds and tears. Don't say nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna stop me now. No more deals to be done. No more selling out my soul just to focus on the goal. Nothing's gonna stop me now. Nothing's gonna hold me down. Got my eye on the prize, gonna set